little fox.
Rocket Girl vs. Freddie Freeze, Episode 1, Roxy's Secret Power. It was early morning at Dairy Dream Ice Cream Parlor. Miss Dipper, the owner, arrived at the store. She unlocked the door and turned on the lights. She gasped.
My ice cream is gone!
I think I'm melting,
said Mara, wiping her forehead.
Don't talk,
said Jack.
It only makes you feel hotter.
The air conditioning at Metro City Elementary School wasn't working. The students in Miss Apricot's class were miserable. It was quiet reading time, but no one could concentrate on reading.
It's so hot, I can't even think,
said Terrell.
Me neither,
said Jack.
I wish we could go swimming.
Jack closed his eyes and imagined jumping into an ice-cold pool.
I wish we could have ice cream.
Said Mara.
That would cool us off.
If only Rocket Girl was here,
said Terrell.
She could do something about this heat.
This heat isn't so bad,
said Roxy.
Are you kidding?
Asked Terrell.
Aren't you hot right now?
Of course,
said Roxy.
but I have a secret power I use to keep cool.
Terrell looked interested. So did everyone else.
You do?
Said Jack.
Tell us!
Terrell, Jack, and Mara leaned closer to hear about Roxy's secret power. Roxy looked very serious.
I'll tell you, but you all have to promise to never tell anyone.
She said.
We promise!
Said her friends, hardly breathing.
Okay,
Roxy whispered.
it's very simple. When it's really hot,
She paused.
You what?
Asked Mara.
What do you do?
Roxy looked around to make sure no one else was listening. She whispered.
I try not to think about it.
Roxy giggled. Jack groaned.
I thought you were going to tell us something good.
Miss Apricot looked up from the front of the room.
I know it's very hot,
She said.
but please be quiet.
I still think Rocket Girl could stop this heat,
Whispered Terrell. Just then, Roxy heard her watch beeping.
It's the mayor.
She thought.
Miss Apricot,
Said Roxy.
may I go to the restroom?
A moment later, Roxy was in the girls' room.
Mayor Bloom,
She said, looking at the screen on her watch.
what's the problem?
Rocket Girl, we need your help.
Said Mayor Bloom.
True Savings Bank is being robbed. I spoke with Principal Penn. She said you're excused from class until we solve the case.
I'm on my way.
Said Roxy. Rocket Girl vs. Freddie Freeze, Episode 2, Heat Vision. Roxy quickly changed into Rocket Girl. She ran out of the school and shot up into the air.
Look,
Said Mara.
it's Rocket Girl!
I wonder where she's going.
Said Jack.
Roxy's still not back from the restroom.
Said Terrell.
What's taking her so long?
When Roxy arrived at True Savings Bank, she expected to find the bank robber. Instead, she saw a crowd of people, and they were all frozen.
Whoa, what happened here?
Roxy wondered.
Why are all these people frozen?
Detective Smith rushed into the bank. He was out of breath from running.
Rocket Girl,
He said.
I came as fast as I could. I was at the Dairy Dream ice cream parlor.
You know, Detective, you really shouldn't eat ice cream for breakfast.
Roxy laughed. Detective Smith frowned.
I wasn't eating ice cream for breakfast.
He said.
The ice cream was stolen. So we have 2 robberies to solve.
Thought Roxy. Dairy Dream had been robbed, and there were frozen people at the bank. Roxy found this very suspicious,
I think both robberies were done by the same person.
said Roxy.
Why do you think that?
Asked Detective Smith,
We have stolen ice cream and frozen people.
said Roxy.
The crimes must be connected.
I don't think so.
Said Detective Smith.
Bank robbers don't usually rob ice cream parlors.
Well, we have to unfreeze these people right away.
Said Roxy.
I'll use my heat vision.
Heat vision?
Said Detective Smith.
I thought your eyes shot lasers.
They do that too.
Said Roxy.
You'd better stand back, Detective.
Roxy stared hard at one of the frozen people. An orange beam slowly radiated out of Roxy's eyes, melting the ice. She melted one ice block after another. Soon, all the people were free,
Thank you, Rocket Girl.
said a woman.
Can you tell us what happened here?
Asked Roxy. The woman shivered.
I came in to deposit a check.
She said.
Then a man came in and started blasting freeze rays at everyone. Freeze rays?
Said Roxy. Just then, Detective Smith's phone rang.
Hello?
He said. Detective Smith looked very serious.
Really? How long ago? Oh no, this is terrible. Yes, sir. Right away, sir.
What's wrong now?
Asked Roxy after Detective Smith had hung up.
Another bank is being robbed.
Said the detective. Rocket Girl vs. Freddie Freeze, Episode 3, A Slippery Slope.
What bank is being robbed now?
Asked Roxy.
Metro City Central Bank.
Said Detective Smith.
We have to hurry. Rocket Girl?
A minute later, Roxy was outside Metro City Central Bank. It was a large building in downtown Metro City. It was at the top of a long, steep hill. Inside the bank, Roxy could see people running around and crying out.
He's shooting freeze rays!
I'm so cold.
Save us, Rocket Girl!
Roxy saw the villain. He was wearing silver boots and a white jumpsuit. Icicles hung from his silver beard.
It's Freddie Freeze!
Said Roxy. Freddie was holding a big freeze blaster. It was attached to a large tank on Freddie's back. He was walking toward the bank's safe. Roxy used her X-ray vision to look in the tank. It was filled with ice cream.
Aha!
Roxy realized.
Freddie Freeze is using the ice cream to power his big freeze blaster.
Roxy flew into the bank.
Hold it right there, Freddie.
She shouted.
Your bank robbing days are over.
Freddie Freeze quickly turned around. His eyes widened in surprise.
Rocket Girl!
He said.
You'll never stop me!
Freddie blasted a freeze ray at Roxy. Whoosh! Roxy jumped out of the way and ran back outside. Freddie followed her. Roxy ran partway down the hill.
I'm going to turn you into an ice pop!
Shouted Freddie. Whoosh! The tree next to Roxy was frozen solid,
You'll never hit me.
said Roxy.
You're too slow.
Freddie Freeze shot blast after blast of freeze rays. Roxy darted back and forth and up and down. She was much too quick for Freddie,
Just give up, Freddie.
said Roxy.
I'm too fast for your dumb freeze rays.
Roxy was now standing at the edge of the hill. Freddie aimed his big freeze blaster and fired at her. Whoosh! Roxy jumped.
Ha-ha!
Roxy laughed.
You missed me again. Whoa!
Freddie's last freeze ray had frozen the entire street. It was a long, steep hill, and Roxy was sliding fast.
Whoa!
Cried Roxy. Roxy tried to melt the ice with her heat vision, but she was sliding too fast and spinning all over the place. Looking up, she could see Freddie aiming his big freeze blaster at her. Roxy gulped.
Uh-oh.
Rocket Girl vs. Freddie Freeze. Episode 4. Ice Cream. Freddie Freeze pulled the trigger of the big freeze blaster. Nothing happened,
Drat!
said Freddie.
I used up all the freeze power dealing with that pesky Rocket Girl. But never mind her. I need to get more ice cream. I have a lot of banks to rob today.
Roxy finally stopped sliding when she reached the bottom of the hill.
Phew!
She said, standing up. Roxy flew back to the top of the hill. Freddie was gone,
Freddie must have gone to get more ice cream.
thought Roxy.
He already robbed Dairy Dream. What other place in Metro City has a lot of ice cream?
Roxy thought for a moment and then gulped.
Oh no! The Metro City Elementary School cafeteria!
Ugh, it's hotter in the cafeteria than in our classroom.
Said Mara. All the students had just sat down to eat. Today's lunch was hot meatball sandwiches.
Ew. Hot food is the last thing I want right now.
Said Jack. Suddenly, the doors to the cafeteria flew open,
Rocket Girl!
shouted a boy,
Listen up, everyone!
said Roxy, landing next to the ice cream freezer.
We don't have much time. I need you to start eating lots and lots of ice cream.
The whole cafeteria became silent for a second. Then a boy spoke up.
We need to eat lots of ice cream?
He asked,
Yes!
said Roxy.
And quickly.
She started throwing ice cream to the students.
Why?
Asked another student,
Who cares why?
said Terrell.
Let's just eat!
Ice cream cones, ice cream sandwiches, and ice cream pops flew through the air. Soon, everyone was eating ice cream, even the teachers.
Woohoo!
Shouted Terrell.
This is great! I'm finally cooling off!
I love ice cream!
Said Jack. When Freddie Freeze burst into the cafeteria, all the ice cream was gone, cried Freddie. Roxy smiled.
Freddie, you're not going to need that big freeze blaster anymore. You're going to jail.
After Roxy took Freddie Freeze to the police station, she headed back to school. The kids were outside for recess,
Roxy, where have you been?
asked Mara,
I was helping Principal Penn work on the school website.
said Roxy. She got on a swing and started swinging. Terrell gave Roxy a suspicious look.
Rocket Girl came while you were gone.
He said. Roxy just smiled as she flew high in the air. Rocket Girl vs. Mr. Presto, Episode 1, Mighty Man. Everyone at the TV station was busy. A woman turned on a camera. A man carried a microphone. They were getting ready to film an episode of Mighty Man.
Where's Mighty Man?
Asked someone.
Here I am,
Said an actor in a superhero costume. Suddenly, poof! A man appeared in a puff of smoke. He had a tall hat and a thin mustache. He wore a tuxedo. A monkey sat on his shoulder. The man had an evil grin.
There's going to be a new show today. Hurry up!
Said Jack.
Mighty Man is on in 10 minutes.
Roxy and her friends were on their way to Jack's house. They were going to watch Mighty Man, a TV show about a superhero,
I wonder what Mighty Man will do today.
said Mara.
Last week, an asteroid was about to crash into Earth.
Said Jack.
So today, Mighty Man is going to stop it.
Mighty Man is so cool.
Said Mara.
He's okay,
Said Terrell.
but he's not that great.
Jack and Mara were stunned.
What do you mean?
Asked Jack. Terrell shrugged.
Mighty Man isn't real. He's just a character on a show.
We know that.
Said Jack.
But if he was real, he'd be the best superhero ever.
No way!
Said Terrell.
Rocket Girl is much cooler than Mighty Man. Right, Roxy?
Everyone looked at Roxy.
Well,
Said Mara.
what do you think, Roxy?
Roxy thought for a moment.
I agree with Terrell.
She said.
Rocket Girl is definitely cooler than Mighty Man. Mighty Man is kind of silly.
The four friends got to Jack's house and went inside. Jack grabbed some snacks and everyone flopped onto the sofa. Jack turned on the TV, but Mighty Man wasn't on. Instead, a strange man was on the set of the TV show. He had a tall hat and a thin mustache,
Hello, everybody.
said the man.
Mighty Man has been cancelled. I have a new show for you. It's a magic show, and I'm the star. I'm going to be famous.
Who is that guy?
Asked Terrell. Roxy couldn't tell her friends, but she knew who the man was.
That's the evil magician, Mr. Presto.
She thought. Roxy's watch beeped. She rushed into Jack's kitchen and pressed a button on the watch.
Rocket Girl,
Said Mayor Bloom.
Mr. Presto took over the TV station.
I know.
Roxy whispered.
Don't worry, I'll stop him.
Rocket Girl vs. Mr. Presto, Episode 2, Presto. Roxy had to find out what Mr. Presto was up to.
Hey, guys.
She said to her friends.
I just remembered I have to help my mom with chores. I'll be back soon.
Roxy found Detective Smith at the TV station. He was looking at some equipment.
Where's Mr. Presto?
Roxy asked.
I don't know.
Said the detective.
He was gone before I got here.
Roxy smirked.
I'm surprised Mighty Man didn't stop him.
Ha ha.
Detective Smith pretended to laugh.
Mighty Man isn't a real superhero like you, Rocket Girl.
We need to find out what Mr. Presto's doing.
Roxy told him. Detective Smith nodded.
Yes, I think...
Help! A voice cried out from behind a door. Roxy looked around.
That sounded like...
Mighty Man!
Said Detective Smith. Roxy ran to the door. It was locked. Whiz-hoo! Roxy blasted it open with her eye laser beams. The Mighty Man actor was inside a small room. The TV crew was with him.
Thank you, Rocket Girl,
said the actor.
No problem.
Roxy said.
Do you know where Mr. Presto went?
Asked Detective Smith.
No,
said another man.
he stole a camera and left. But we can find out what he's doing.
The man turned on a monitor. Mr. Presto appeared on the screen. He held a wand in one hand and a microphone in the other. Metro City Bank was in the background. Mr. Presto walked over to a woman. The woman wore a diamond necklace.
Hello!
Said Mr. Presto.
What's your name?
Molly?
Said the woman.
What a lovely name!
Said Mr. Presto.
I'm going to show you a magic trick, Molly.
He waved his wand.
1, 2, 3, presto!
Poof! Molly's necklace disappeared. Mr. Presto looked at the camera.
Is everyone enjoying my show?
Next, Mr. Presto walked over to a man.
Hello, sir.
Said Mr. Presto.
Ooh, that's a very nice watch you're wearing.
Thank you.
Said the man.
Do you like magic?
Asked Mr. Presto.
Yes.
Said the man.
Watch this.
Said Mr. Presto. He waved his wand.
1, 2, 3, presto!
Poof! The watch was gone. And so was Roxy. She had to stop Mr. Presto from stealing things. Detective Smith was still watching the monitor.
Rocket Girl, we need to do something. Mr. Presto is... Rocket Girl? Where did she go?
Rocket Girl vs. Mr. Presto, Episode 3, The World's Greatest Magician.
This show is terrible,
Said Terrell. Terrell, Mara, and Jack were still watching Mr. Presto. The magician had just made an old man's cane disappear.
Where's Mighty Man?
Asked Jack. Suddenly, Mara shouted.
Rocket Girl is on TV!
Detective Smith and the TV crew were still watching the monitor.
Whoa!
Said the Mighty Man actor.
It's Rocket Girl!
Mr. Presto was about to make a little girl's lollipop disappear.
1, 2, 3.
Stop right there, Mr. Presto!
Roxy yelled. Mr. Presto spun around and the little girl ran away.
Rocket Girl!
Said Mr. Presto.
I was hoping you would appear. Now my show will be very exciting.
Your show is over.
Said Roxy. Mr. Presto smiled.
Oh no, it's not. In a moment I'll perform my most amazing trick. I'm going to make all the money in Metro City Bank disappear.
No, you're not.
Said Roxy. Mr. Presto raised an eyebrow.
I'm not? Who's going to stop me?
I am.
Said Roxy. She ran toward Mr. Presto. Mr. Presto waved his wand.
Presto!
A wall appeared in front of Roxy. Bam! Roxy crashed into it. Mr. Presto laughed.
This is turning out to be such a great show!
Grr!
Roxy growled, rubbing her head. She jumped over the wall and landed in front of Mr. Presto. She tried to grab him.
Presto!
Said the magician. Poof! He disappeared. Roxy looked from side to side.
Where did Mr. Presto go?
She wondered. She took a few steps, looking carefully. She felt someone tap her on the shoulder.
Here I am!
Said Mr. Presto. Roxy spun around. Poof! Mr. Presto disappeared again. Roxy didn't see the magician anywhere.
Hey!
She yelled.
Mr. Presto, why don't you come out and face me? Or are you too scared?
Poof! Mr. Presto appeared nearby,
I'm the world's greatest magician!
said Mr. Presto.
I'm not scared of a silly little girl.
Roxy glared at Mr. Presto.
A silly little girl? You're going to regret saying that.
Roxy shot toward Mr. Presto like a rocket,
Presto!
said Mr. Presto. A big black box appeared in front of him. Roxy was flying too fast to stop. She slammed right into the box. Mr. Presto quickly closed it shut.
1, 2, 3, presto!
Mara, Jack, and Terrell stared at the TV screen. They all gasped.
Uh-oh!
Cried Terrell. Rocket Girl vs. Mr. Presto, Episode 4, The Amazing Trick. Mr. Presto stood near the black box and reached into his hat. He pulled out several swords. He looked into the camera and smiled.
Say goodbye to Rocket Girl!
He said. Mr. Presto slowly pushed a sword through the box. Slink!
Ah!
Mara cried. Mr. Presto stuck another sword through the box. Slink!
Oh no!
Cried Detective Smith. One by one, Mr. Presto stuck all the swords through the box. When he was done, he opened the box. It was empty. A hole was burned through the back. Cried Mr. Presto.
Rocket Girl escaped!
Mr. Presto looked at the camera.
Never mind. It's time to make all the money in Metro City Bank disappear!
Oh no!
Cried Detective Smith.
Where's Rocket Girl?
Mr. Presto walked into Metro City Bank. There was a line of people. He waved his wand.
1, 2, 3, presto!
Poof! All the people disappeared. A second later, they appeared outside the bank.
What just happened?
Said a man. Inside, the bank teller looked at Mr. Presto.
Hello, sir.
She said.
How can I help?
Poof! She disappeared. Mr. Presto went behind the counter. He stood in front of a door. It was big and round. It was made of solid metal. Mr. Presto looked at the camera.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Behind this door is a huge pile of money. And it's all going to be mine.
Mr. Presto raised his wand.
1, 2, 3, presto!
The door swung open. Mr. Presto looked in and saw Rocket Girl. Terrell, Mara, and Jack cheered. Roxy ripped the wand from Mr. Presto's hand. Mr. Presto was confused.
How did you...
There will be no more magic for you, Mr. Presto.
Said Roxy. She held the wand up with both hands and she snapped it in half. Crack!
No!
Cried Mr. Presto. Detective Smith breathed a sigh of relief.
Hooray!
Shouted the Mighty Man actor.
Yay!
Shouted Mara. She, Jack, and Terrell jumped up and down.
That was the best show ever!
Said Terrell.
Yeah,
Said Jack.
I like Mighty Man, but Rocket Girl is a real superhero.
Several minutes later, Roxy walked in.
Hey, guys.
She said.
I'm back.
Terrell looked at the TV and then at Roxy. He gave her a suspicious look. Roxy just smiled.
So, did I miss anything?